wonder what's good on TV this April.
Cecil! I need you, Cecil!
You're in April, or I met this girl under full bloom cherry blossoms and my fate has begun to change. Sheesh, what a mouthful. Glad they went with the shorter one. Well, this is a musical anime focusing around the piano and violin. I'm not sure how well this was depicted in the manga because you can't really hear the music being played in the panels, but hey, who am I to judge what hallucinogens you take to make this possible? The manga is written and illustrated by Naoshi Arakawa, a shy guy with a love for manga at a young age. Some of his favorites included Kinnikuman and Fist of the North Star. You know, that anime.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
He started off with the manga series called A School Frozen in Time, about school students trapped in a school by a snowstorm trying to figure out the name of their classmate that committed unaliving at the school festival. That went dark. Crazy to think that this guy made Your Lie in April. But even before that, he made another manga called Sayonara Football, about a girl that loves soccer.
Took it too far this time! Fuck!
As I was saying, a girl that loves football and poses natural talent but is not allowed to compete because she is a girl. So basically Mulan but with football. But father, I want to play football. I love it. No, you will not play with the balls, as only boys play with the balls. You do not have the balls to play with. But father! Okay, next part, you'll kick him in the balls and ask him where his balls went. Sir, I think we went a bit off track here. Damn, you're right. Let's cut back to ZenMasterKai. Thanks guys. Anyway, then came Your Lie in April, a story about a pianist trying to find his sound and a violinist trying to make herself heard. You may not understand what this means as of yet, but you will definitely feel what is said here. Every single person in the story is affected by the pianist Kousei Arima, and it all began at his first ever competition. The competition that changed everything. Kousei, his friends, his mom, and his mom's good friend are all dropped off by their dad Takahiko. This is literally the only time you'll ever see him, and it was in the OVA and not even the anime. They say he's on business, but damn, your kid goes through all this shit. The least you can do is come back with the milk. This performance marks the first time Kousei will ever play in front of an audience, and also the last time he plays from his soul. He played Beethoven's Piano Sonata No. 14, Moonlight Sonata, the third movement. Music Theory with ZenMasterKai. I'm going to try my best to explain this as simple as possible for non-music knowing people as a non-music knowing person myself. As the name implies, there's 3 movements or parts to the sonata. This entire sonata is speculated to have been dedicated to his student Giulietta Guicciardi, his 17-year-old piano student, or influenced by Don Juan killing their commander. A much darker inspiration as he envisioned a more funeral feel. This could nod to the fact that a piece of Kousei died here after this performance. The third movement of the sonata is dark, heavy, and also fast, fluid, and exciting. This is also the part that needs the most skill, showing us the level Kousei is already at his young age. He is a bit nervous given that this is his first time and not really following pianist etiquette. But hey, he's just a kid. After he is done, we see an array of kids get inspired by him, and soon this is where their fate and his fate changes. Fast forward to now, and this is that song from the intro. What a cool Easter egg. More anime should do this. We are introduced to our characters after a softball just whams Kousei in the head, causing him to leak a little bit. These 3 characters will be our main cast for about 10 minutes until another character joins in. Kousei, Tsubaki, and Watari. What is Haikyuu Kid doing here? Are all friends, and Tsubaki and Watari even attended Kousei's performances. They supported him from the start. Even when he goes to pick up the broken glass, Tsubaki stops him. She shows a lot of care and protectiveness over him. Will this come back in the future? The answer is yes, but I like to create suspense at times. Like a piano, Kousei sees the world in monotone. Like he took the saturation slider and slid it to 0. This led to him overthinking negative thoughts all the time and losing the sparkle in his eyes. Once Tsubaki notices this, she hits him with a quote, "The world looks more colorful when you are in love." For Kousei to get that color back in his life, he must find love. This quote is even referenced in the opening song of the anime, and for the longest time I never realized the song was in the anime. I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear after listening to this. Please give it a listen if you haven't. I feel you should feel the same way I did. But to summarize it, the intro references the end of the anime with the visuals and makes mention of color, never forgetting memories, and the night Sky, which all play an important role in the story when connecting feelings and characters. I feel like I'm one of those genius videos explaining the lyrics. The outro speaks about being with that one person, only hearing their voice and not even considering others. Yeah, once you hear all of this, you know what kind of anime this is gonna be. So, this all seems simple, right? Well, at one of his performances, he stopped suddenly and broke down. Suddenly, he couldn't hear any of the music. This was the day after his mom passed away. Instead of being sad, he continued to practice for his competition, not knowing how to cope with his emotions. This was all caused by her. You see, Saki, his mom, was a well-known pianist across Japan. One day when her close friend Hiroko noticed the natural talent Kousei had and told Saki this would be her first mistake. But how is that a mistake? Well, Saki was sick, terminally ill, and didn't have a lot of time left. Seeing that Kousei had natural talent and won competitions, this pushed her to do things that you should never do to a child. She took his childhood away, beat him for not practicing perfectly, and worst of all, abandoning their pet cat Chelsea after it scratched Kousei. In all my life, I never wanted to jump through my screen and deal with this situation myself. This traumatized Kousei so much that he played like a robot, or as everyone else said, a human metronome, or his mother's puppet. Yes, a lot of other people noticed how good he was and how Saki treated him. So much so that they always made rude remarks under their breath or just enough so Kousei could hear them. There was one performance that Kousei did that he thought he did perfectly, but his mother thought otherwise. She hit him so hard she drew blood in front of everyone. I don't know why Hiroko only jumped in now, but Kousei said one sentence that sent his mom to her deathbed finally.
お前なんか死んじゃえばいいんだ
Later on in the series, we come to find out the only reason she did all of this to Kousei was because she was worried about him. How will he survive or find love without her? Now, when I first saw this, sure, the anime wanted me to feel bad for her, but I just couldn't. She beat her son, traumatized him, took away his childhood, and abandoned their cat. Nothing could ever make me feel sorry for her, and she better hope I don't find her in the afterlife. Sorry, I got a bit heated there. Cats have a soft spot in my heart, but I'll be good, and I do hope you are as well. Please reach out to loved or trusted ones if you ever feel stuck in life. Talking about these things can help you move forward. Knowing all of this, we will see as Kousei moves through life what happens to him because of his trauma and how and if he overcomes it. Tsubaki tells him that she wants to set Watari up with a girl and wants Kousei to come along so it doesn't feel awkward. Well, it gets awkward. This new girl, Kaori, has a bit of a fiery personality but also a sweet side. She invites everyone to watch her play the violin at the auditorium. Kousei feels anxious from his younger days when he used to play, and I'm not even sure if he imagines this or if it's real, but people start talking bad about him under their breath. Like, why would you say these things to a kid? Kaori chooses Beethoven's Violin Sonata No. 9, the Kreutzer. Music theory with ZenMasterKai. Now, the backstory of this sonata is pretty funny. The homie Beethoven wrote this to be played with his homie George Bridgewater, the violinist. Now, the way it was written, it was intended to be done as a duet with the piano and violin. So they had a concert at 8 AM with no rehearsal and somehow still managed to argue over a lady while drunk AF. Beethoven broke up with his homie and named this after another violinist, Kreutzer, who didn't even like Beethoven's music. So I'm not sure what went on here, but this sonata is said to be one of his most glorious creations. So see fellas, has positive outcomes. Even though the sonata was meant to be played as a duet, Kaori absolutely steals the show by not performing the music accurately, instead making it her own by playing it the way she feels. She doesn't care what anyone else has to say, as long as her music reaches people. She is more than happy. But even she seems to care about what Kousei has to say about her. He can only think about her in the coming days and sees that she is changing the way he sees music. This feeling in his heart cannot be explained, but he goes with it for now. Later in the day, he meets Kaori, a girl under fully bloomed cherry blossom. That's the title! So now his fate must start to change by being friend-zoned. That's just great. The next song that we hear is at a cafe with Kaori and Kousei. Two kids are learning to play the piano when Kaori approaches them to gloat about Kousei's skills. He eventually gives in and plays Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, this first variation of 12 by Mozart. Now, I don't know how the first one got so much more popular than the other 11, but Mozart created a certified banger with this lullaby. It goes even deeper. The night sky is referenced many times throughout the anime. The first instance is a flashback of Tsubaki carrying Kousei home after he scraped his knee. But Tsubaki sprained her ankle and is still carrying this kid. That's just woman power right there. He says he will carry her one day, and when that day comes, the stars are shining bright on them. This is after Tsubaki caused her team to lose their softball game after she saw Kousei and Kaori getting closer together. She wanted this moment with Kousei to last forever, but never truly expressed these emotions to him. Communication is key. The next instance of this is when Watari Wataru loses his game and tells Kousei that he may have missed his chance of being a star. He immediately follows with the fact that stars need darkness to shine, saying to us that the moment of sadness will only lead to better things in the future. This guy Wataru is such a good guy. The next mention of this is when Kousei enters a competition and his number is 265, referring to Coachella number 265, Mozart's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and that the stars will shine down on him. Wait, you just said he entered a competition. This guy, the same one traumatized to play. Well, yes, fellow subscriber of ZenMasterKai. But we will get back to that after you subscribe and let me know your favorite part of the anime in the comments below. Before we get there, let's go back to the restaurant. As soon as he starts to focus, he stops abruptly and explains to Kaori that he cannot hear music anymore. After knowing this information, he still goes ahead and asks him to be her accompanist or partner to play the piano while she does the violin. It takes time for Kousei to agree and a little bit of convincing from Kaori, but eventually she gets through to him. She finds him on the roof, hits a JoJo pose after beating him, and tells him to stop looking for excuses to quit and quit on his own terms. He tells her that he's scared and references the dark sea, which we'll see later, and that he feels alone. Kaori tells him that he has her and that she wants him and no one else, just like the outro reference, and that she will fill people's hearts, make them never forget that feeling, all before she loses everything. Now every single alarm should be sounding, so get your tissues ready. We see cherry blossom petals and a city full of color as Kousei goes to this competition. The song they've chosen to do is Saint Seiyan's Introduction to Rondo Capriccioso. Music Theory with ZenMasterKai. The song can be broken up into 3 parts. The introduction is slow, moody, and sets a plaintive tone before things pick up in the song. The rondo is where the main theme continues to return while alternating between contrasting musical sections. And the capriccioso, meaning capricious or whimsical in Italian, tells us the music should be played impulsively and in a playful style, showing a lot of sudden changes. Looking at the meaning behind the song, it fits Kaori perfectly as in the end, she truly makes the song her own. The judges knew this and still felt she did a bad job when she was supposed to play unrestricted to what the composer envisioned. In between this, Kousei loses focus and feels as if he's drowning and cannot hear the music. Everything becomes numb and dull until Kaori stops playing in the middle of her performance. She tells Kousei to go on again, and this signals to him that he needs to lock in. He tries his best, but he keeps smashing the keys too hard, making the piano cry in agony. But he finds himself, and on stage, it sounds like both the violinist and the pianist are brawling it out, making them both put their all into this. In the end, the audience loves them, and both Kaori and Kousei are happy that they both got to experience this together. Kaori sees her goal accomplished, with her using her music to make people remember her and her music. This is the moment they've been looking for, and nothing could go wrong here. Kaori is okay at the hospital, and we see that she saw a spark in his eye when Kousei played. This marks the moment that he may love her, but there's someone else that loves him. Tsubaki slowly realizes that she is losing her childhood friend to Kaori, and that they are hanging out more than usual and spending more time together. To her boyfriend, Tsubaki even talks about Kousei non-stop, about how he acts and what he does. Now if this was me, I wouldn't want to hear my girl talk about another guy constantly, and her boyfriend realizes that she likes Kousei, so he did the honorable thing and broke up with her later in the anime, rather than her breaking up with him. She even hesitated to break up with him because if she did, that would just solidify her feelings for Kousei even more. You see, in the past, when Tsubaki wanted to play and hang out with Kousei, he never could do that because he was always practicing music with his mom. Every time it was the same excuse, and soon Tsubaki saw music slowly take Kousei away from her. This was the point where she started to hate music, and now notices music taking him away again with Kaori involved. Kaori entered him into a competition to get him out of making excuses not to play. The same one with the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star reference we saw earlier. Yes, we are finally there. And the song chosen by Kaori for him to play is Chopin's Etude Opus 25 No. 5, titled Wrong Notes. Music Theory with ZenMasterKai. It wasn't named by him, but someone else I couldn't find in a simple Google search. But basically the name refers to some notes in the song sounding wrong when played during practice, but when performed fast, it blends all together. Kousei playing the sound must mean that he needs to play fast and cannot slow down to focus, think, or worse, overthink. And that's what I feel the meaning is for him playing this. He gets ready to play and proceeds to do the opposite of everything I just said. He envisions a cat with green eyes. This cat tells him, what if you are humiliated or afraid? Who are you? Where are you? you? And are you ready to start your journey? This cat is Chelsea, his childhood cat that was abandoned by his mom. Kousei visualizes this cat as a connection to his mom and what he wanted at the time and not what his mom wanted. But there is another cat that you'll notice, a black cat with blue eyes. You can see it at the start, in the intro, the end, and is always around Kousei when he's with Kaori or speaking or thinking about her. This cat represents her, the way she snuck up on him like a cat sneaks up on you and rubs themselves on you to show love. He starts to play and it sounds identical to the composer, but as soon as he focuses, he starts to drown. The keys are not making sound and he overthinks. It gets to a point where he stops entirely, but remembers he isn't alone. He has Kaori and he starts to play and focus one last time, making this piece his. His notes sparkle and remind people of spring and cherry blossoms, the same place he met Kaori. This piece is played for her. She pushed him to play and now he will only play for her. At the end, the crowd cheers and the cat says he is now free. His mom's presence starts to have life and even a random lady appears. All of this just to be disqualified because he stopped. Rules are rules, even in this cutthroat music world. But do you want to know what the crazy thing is? The two performers before him, Aiza Takashi and Emi Igawa, those two were inspired by Kousei when he first performed. They were moved so much that Aiza saw him as a hero and Emi wanted to hear the sound he created again. So when it looked like he gave up, they were both extremely disappointed but found hope within him once more. Having Kousei as a rival made them push themselves even further to compete with him, because in the past, those three were always top 3, with Kousei always first. Music Theory with ZenMasterKai. Aiza played Chopin's Etude Opus 10 number 5, also known as Torrent. This needs to be played in a specific way in order for it to flow nicely like a river. If played too slow, it can sound sluggish, and if too fast, it can be choppy. Emi decided to play Chopin's Etude Opus 25 number 11, or Winter's Wind. This piece shows off a pianist's dexterity using their left and right hands together to play this piece. In the anime, she calls this Autumn Wind, so this could be her trying to make this piece her own, or show it's a complete opposite of the seasons in comparison to Kousei's Spring Association. The three of them learn and are inspired by each other. Sure, Kousei doesn't make it to the next round, but we will definitely see these two again later. The new lady we see is Hiroko Seto, a close friend of Saki. She saw Kousei return to piano even after quitting and saw an opportunity to help him move forward in his life by assisting him. While she was in the audience, she felt the song say "I love you," so she questions him on this and he says it's no one, but we the actual audience know who it is. We see a change in Kousei, a more humanly change. As he walks home, he feels a rush of emotion and starts running and crying out to the world. This is what being human is all about. And that train, yeah, I know you noticed it. This train is symbolizing the transition of one's life. Kousei transitions from being a human metronome to a human. Kousei meets Kaori and a train passes by. Tsubaki dating her senpai shows us she is trying to transition to this relationship away from Kousei, and later on, Kaori makes the transition. Kaori now asks him to be her accompanist for this gala. The song chosen by Kaori is Love Sorrow, a song close to Kousei as his mom used to play this to him, saying that he will deal with sorrow at a young age. No matter how many times you try and make me feel bad for the mom, I will not fold. This piece is meant to represent the contrast of joy and emotion through a piano with complex romantic vibes. You heard me right, just the piano, because on the day, Kaori was never to be seen. He has to play it solo, and this stresses him out because this is a song that he connects to with his mom. But that's the reason Kaori picked it out for him. She wanted him to face his fears with no excuses, and that's what he does. He puts his soul into this and bids farewell to his mom. This is where we truly see a colorful world, and starts to label this feeling he has for Kaori as love. But before I move on, this little Mike starts roasting Kaori for being late and unprofessional, but this Chad of a man Kousei uses his music to show him who the real musician is. We don't really know how Mike sounded, but from the audience reaction, he was evolving, and he was humbled that day. Anyway, Tsubaki is back in the picture, not communicating at all to Kousei, but eventually on the beach, he tells her that he's going to move away to study music. This absolutely shatters her, and she runs off crying, saying that music is once again taking him away. One day in the music room, Tsubaki is there reflecting on Kousei. When he comes in and starts playing the piano, he plays Debussy, Suite Bergamasque, the third movement, Clare de Lune in French, or Moonlight in English. This gives me Evil Within flashbacks, as I wasn't a big fan of horrors before, and then I got jumped into playing this game with fear surrounding me. The moonlight refers to their meeting on the beach and other times where they are under the night sky. They just seem to share moments under the stars in this case. She then crashes out as he plays the piano, saying why he doesn't comfort her, but playing the piano is all the same to them, and that he will stay by her for as long as she needs to. I feel all of this could have been avoided by simply talking to the other person. It's even referred to in the intro by her going round and round in circles, but another lyric tells us the singer wants to stay with you forever and live in the moment, and show the world why they are here. This must refer to Kaori, but the clock ticking, what's that for? Well, guess you better get those tissues ready once more. Kaori fell and hit her head again before playing at the gala, hence why she missed it. These slice of life animes hardly have happy endings for everyone. A random girl tries to sabotage Kousei in this next competition, and we come to find out that it's Aiza's little sister, Nagi. She wanted to get closer to Kousei to harm him for making her brother depressed, but ends up learning to play the piano even better. This was also pushed to him by Seto, who wants him to teach her to be better at the piano as well. He also realized he needed to do this because the one night he visited Kaori, she told him that she didn't have a lot of time. Even surgery will only prolong her life slightly, but not for long. Kousei was distressed obviously, but Kaori tried to keep the situation calm and happy. Eventually she starts talking negatively, and Kousei puts an end to this. At the school festival that he plays with Nagi, he has Watari call Kaori and listen. This is where Kousei will only play for her and makes her feel motivated, just how he felt when she helped him. They both play amazingly, and as Kousei picks up the intensity, Nagi picks up too, showing him that he can't outshine her. These two are evolving, one emotionally and one with talent. Music theory with ZenMasterKai. The song they chose to play is Tchaikovsky's Waltz from the Sleeping Beauty. He chose to compose the song based on a fairy tale he saw in 1889. The Sleeping Beauty is a world-renowned ballet show where the song can be found. In the end, Kaori conjures up enough strength to play the violin in the hospital, showing his music truly reached her. This even reaches Aiza, who feels he should be up there with his sister, not Kousei. In the end, Nagi notices that her brother has that pep in his step when he declares that he will be better, something that she really wanted to see in him. Absolute cinema. He goes to the hospital to visit her and sees she's not there. What should he do next? Ask someone at the hospital where she is? Assume she is elsewhere? Stress and think she died? I don't know why this entire cast decides to have poor communication skills, but eventually her parents show up and show him where she is. The hope that he instilled into her pushed her to start rehab and start getting better. This is all he could have hoped for. He heads off to the prelim competition, and we don't get to see him play, but we know he passes to the next stage. Music theory with ZenMasterKai. Aiza is there and performs Chopin's Etude Opus 10 number 12, Revolutionary Etude. This piece can have a reference to starting a new journey but never losing track of the end goal. This fits Aiza as he finally sees his hero come back, and now he can focus on the new goals for himself. After all of this and finding out Kaori doesn't have much time, he stays with Tsubaki and tells her that he likes Kaori. Tsubaki doesn't take this very well and says she likes Watari and that it will never work, kicks him and runs away. If only she could talk to him about how she feels. She is becoming very irritating. But underneath it all, she starts a flow where she said what she needed to say and hopes her voice can reach him. I think her voice would reach better if she was honest with him, but hey, that's just me. Kaori calls him and tells him not to visit so he can focus on the competition. And a cat with blue eyes appears and is knocked by a car. It's too late to save it, and this symbolizes that Kousei needs to accept that Kaori would not make it. He breaks down crying, trying to wash his hands, and is later found in the same position that Seto found him when he broke down 2 years ago. He feels he cannot go on, but sees a note from her saying she wants canals, her favorite dessert. He tells her that people keep leaving him, and she reassures him that he still has her. She uses all her strength to stand up and play for him, showing him a miracle. She is strong for him, so he will have to be strong and play for her. He plays and imagines himself with her on a clear blue ocean and sky, just like the intro, with colorful snow falling on them. He finally accepts that she is gone, and she bursts with light and fades away as he concludes. Every note showed us his emotion in his final song, Chopin's Ballade number 1 in G minor, opus 23. This has highs and lows, first showing us the worry at the start of the song, the journey in the middle, and the acceptance at the end. A perfect song to say goodbye to the person you love. The audience visualizes so many colors, and Emi sees a sakura tree, the same one he met Kaori under. As he concludes, we never see the audience reaction and never know if he won. The song was never meant for us or knowing if he won. It was about playing praying for Kaori and only her. And the cruelest part is that we cut to her parents giving Kousei a letter from Kaori at her grave. As he reads the note, it is revealed to us what the lie she told him in April was. The lie was, thank you for watching the video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, on the real, the lie was that she liked Watari. At Kousei's first ever performance, there was another kid there that was inspired by him. It was Kaori, and there is a picture to even prove it. She never wanted to say that she liked Kousei directly because Tsubaki might have not taken it that way. So she learned the violin so she could play with him and eventually fall in love with him. We see a final passing train as he's with Tsubaki and a blue-eyed cat, showing us the transition of his life from Kaori, with cherry blossoms finally concluding the entire story of Your Lie in April. This was the first time I ever watched this anime. It was on my list for so many years, and I finally gave it a watch after seeing people say it's that time of the year again. So I just bit the bullet to see what it was all about. I enjoyed the symbolisms, animation and story, but didn't quite like the fact that they tried to make me feel bad for the mother and the poor communication skills amongst Tsubaki and Kousei. I feel that they could have done better, but alas, it was a good story. I only teared up at the intro, the cat scene, and at the end. Overall, I would recommend this to someone trying to start a slice of life, but also this was my first slice of life, so I have nothing to compare it to. In the end, you have people that care for you. Never ignore them and never avoid them. And whatever part of life you're in, things will pass and you will transition into a better person. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day.